We are in some form live. Hello.
You're gonna destroy.
People.
You're gonna destroy this recording cat. You're balancing so precariously.
We are not actually starting yet, though. We have a 5-minute buffer before we start for real.
5-minute buffer. Countdown, Pixel. 5 minutes to save the world. Do 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 do. We've only got 5 minutes to save
The
the
way this
world.
usually works is we don't talk during that buffer. But okay.
Wait, why are we not supposed to talk during the buffer?
Because it's normally like an actual placeholder and not. I don't know if this is actually working though. This is gonna be
That's
fun
okay.
to
Pixel
listen
one.
to later.
Pixel is just rubbing his face against the mic, so that's cool, Pixel. That's
this
cool.
does not seem to have like. We are streaming according to my computer. We are not streaming according to YouTube. So that's a fun discrepancy.
Cool.
Gratitude. Supposedly we are live now. Actually, can you open? You have it open?
I do. I still says waiting for Prodigious.
Interesting. Because my creator dashboard, it says, my streaming dashboard says live.
Might be delayed.
Yeah, I suppose that's natural. I suppose we have no idea what we're doing.
Definitely. Although, wait, maybe I just have the wrong window open. I still have the one that says it's going live at 6 p.m. Let me click on this link.
I think it might be good. We have Spirit Rose Wolf in the chat saying 4 minutes. So I think they must be seeing our countdown.
What? I don't see any of this. Am I crazy? Is it because I'm in Prodigious?
Ooh, but this isn't good. It's saying that it's only getting a frame every 10 seconds, which I mean is I guess fine for the video, but it's super awkward. And I guess my computer's gonna be dying. It's rendering a new second once a second. Shouldn't be that complex. Let's see what I can tweak. We have about a minute left.
Are we sure it's working? I still don't see it.
Who knows?
Whoo, be knowing. We're just gonna talk for an hour and see if it does anything.
What it might be is not that chat that I linked out, but I might have to go to the main page.
Oh god.
Which I hoped it would be smart enough. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like that is the deal. Which
okay, right. That's what I said. Okay, now I see it. We're doing it right now. Oh man, there is a countdown. That's frightening. Okay.
The main problem with that is that now I've sent out the wrong link.
Yep, you sent out the wrong link.
I don't know if it's possible to get that link working. Also, stupid cat eating food.
Stupid cat doesn't eat his food when I want him to eat his food.
We should really, we move the clock. We should move the cat food.
No. We didn't move the clock. We're lazy. 10. 5. Wow, okay. Welcome to Bad Digits.
No.
No.
You don't get to say that.
Yes, I do.
No.
Welcome to Bad Digits episode.
You can use mine to get on the internet. Bad Digits.
Welcome to Podigus episode. I have too many things to juggle right now.
404, 405.5.
No, I want to look back at the... Yes, episode 405.5, the curious feedback of the digital world in the nighttime.
Royal Knights feedback, recorded July 20th, 2017.
Podigus is your critically nostalgic analytical tour of the Digimon anime. Today we're doing a live feedback Q&A episode, so it's just me, Jeff Ruberg, and my fellow Royal Knight, Ashley McDonald.
Ooh, I get to be a Royal Knight. Awesome.
Yeah, it's such an honor, especially in terms of Frontier. They're so beloved. I mean, they're everyone's favorite aspect.
Listen, Dynasmon is great. I don't know. I don't care what y'all say.
Yeah, we are here to talk about feedback. We're going to try and keep it really short. Sorry for the delay. We got started late. Ashley had bus trouble, and then we had technical difficulty. It's been a while since we done a live stream. That should be ironed out now. We have things figured out, I think.
Maybe.
Somewhat. We know what to avoid now. Things that I was like, oh yeah,
I can't help
fine.
that the bus was so crowded.
It
just like skipped a stop. It was like, I can't pick you fools up. It's too many people already on here. Bye.
we'll try to fix that stuff in the future. But anyway, more importantly, more apology necessary about the like big gaping hole in the middle of the season, the mid-season hiatus.
It's Jeff's fault.
It is my fault, and I've basically figured out a way to edit the podcast that makes it a lot more sustainable and not like 20 or 30 hours of work. And that episode in particular would have been like 50 to 60. It would have been super intense to do it the more OCD way, because we had one of the tracks was messed up, and I would have had to copy from a different one, and that would have been crazy. And so it basically necessitated me finding a new way, and I put that off for a while. Anyway, that's a long explanation. Things should be more consistent now. We have 3 more episodes for the season. 2 more episodes. 3 more.
3. We haven't
Lucimon
recorded
arc,
one.
Movie, and wrap-up episode, and then feedback episodes interspersed in there. The plan is for those to come out bi-weekly and have feedback episodes in between them. If it diverges from that path, it shouldn't be as big as what happened already. So it might not be exactly coming out on Mondays, but that's loosely what we're aiming for.
I guess you still could do that, sure.
Yeah, it takes a lot less time to edit now.
No,
Yeah, and also we don't have solidified August 1st plans. I don't know. We need to bring. I haven't really been able to think of anything super creative or interesting to do.
I haven't thought about that at all.
Yeah, it's coming up, and I don't know. What we might end up doing is doing the live feedback episode for the next, so for 6.5 on that day, but I don't know our schedule. We're traveling to Montreal that night.
Oh yeah.
1 a.m. on August 2nd, so we might not be able to do it. We might be able to do it if we squeeze it in early and then are done by like 7 p.m. But like otherwise we might not. I don't know. It would be nice to hang out and do like live streams of Cyber Sleuth and stuff for several hours to be like, okay, let's hang out on August 1st. Whatever.
That's definitely not happening.
Yeah, we can't do that. That kind of sucks.
Although Cyber Sleuth stream should come back this weekend. Jeffrey, you game?
I don't know what times, but yeah, we should be back to doing Cyber Sleuth streams.
Woo! Sunday, fools! At some point.
Okay, and now we are going to get into our fortnightly question, which is a funny term. it would be funny. Okay, it'd be better. The better terminology we should have used is bi-monthly. Because
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, because that ideally is twice a month, but ended up being once every 2 months.
Oh my god.
Anyway, the question what was the question this time around, Ashley?
Well, who's your favorite Trailmon?
Yep, that was the question.
I didn't have to look.
I need to make sure I have a visual list of Trailmon while we go through this. Actually, can you open?
Oh, do you have it open? It's just not on that.
The answers.
Oh. Twitter?
I'm juggling like 10 different things. I want you to be proactive in managing some other things.
Twitter?
Yes.
Okay.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
So many.
I mean, you can start with Twitter. So we have stuff to talk about. We're trying to get this quickly, actually.
I don't understand. Twitter. Okay. It's open.
Say them, actually. Oh my god. I'm crying.
Jeff's like pulling out his hair. It's really great. Wow. Okay. May replied, lost in translation, man. We're just gonna assume it was May. It says Doom Train. Isn't it called something else? It's not called Doom Train. The official name.
I think it is Dark Trailmon.
Yeah, isn't it Dark Trailmon?
I'm not sure if May meant this as an explicit reference. Let me see what happens when I Google
Doom Train.
But what I think of is the Final Fantasy VI boss. There is a summon, and you fight as a boss that's like, it's like you go on this train as like a set piece, and then it becomes a evil thing, and then you fight. And
whoa, okay, I never played 6.
It is really good, and you should play it.
What really is on it? What's it for? Like what?
No, we don't have time for this. It's good. Play it. If I get this SNES Classic, it'll be on there, and then we can play it.
Oh God, Chris McFeely says Angler. It's all in the accent. True. That's the German one, right? Yes.
I think so. I was like, oh, should I look up the voices? And I did not have time to organize all the voices, unfortunately.
Dot Yawning says, design-wise, Ball Trailmon. He manually operates himself or something. Plus, there's that random tongue out and spaced out face. Ball Trailmon scares me. I didn't even know that was a Trailmon until I looked it up for that Trailmon question. Oh, that question hasn't come out yet. JK!
Oh, right, that thing.
Well, you all know because you filled it out.
Yeah, that was public.
Whatever, it's all very confusing.
Coastal Clash already happened.
Coastal Clash already happened.
I mean, the survey already happened. Come on. Roll along Ultramon.
Homer Neurotic says, also the Doom Train that maybe took Takuya home back in time and to Earth and/or was imaginary and cool and mysterious, wanted to know more. Yep, Dark Trailmon is dark and mysterious. I wanted to know more. Facebook. What is our policy on names on Facebook?
First names.
Okay. Justice says Dark Trailmon because darkness.
We don't want to out people their full name and their Trailmon history.
I know. I mean, it's true. As you can see, Dark Trailmon is very popular. Oh boy, there's an X in this name. There's 2 X's in this name. Okay. Go Lux Ex Machina says, my absolute favorite is the C89 from Digimon Next. But the ones in Frontier, I like Raccoon Dog's design the best. I like Raccoon Dog's name the best.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see I'm trying to do a thing with having a visual along with stuff. It's hard to get working properly. What you might see now is like something just behind
scrolling.
Also, the scroll is probably super low frame rate and probably looks terrible. But I think this is the when I see like Trailmon from Digimon Next. They interesting designs. Digimon Next was a manga that I think loosely was tangentially related in premise to Digimon Sabers and Data Squad, but not really. In the same way that like V-Tamer 01 was loosely related to Adventure, but not really. Yeah, any more on Facebook?
No.
Any more on Tumblr?
No.
Okay. Then we got a couple of voicemails with answers, and the first one, I have not pre-screened these. Usually I have time to listen, so I know like the volume is level and everything. I don't know. This will be a fun.
This will be
hopefully these
a mystic adventure, a quest for all time.
Yes. These are all card captors.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first voicemail comes in from Allie.
I don't know. I guess I would say the Angler Trailmon, because he was probably the nicest of them all. He didn't like push them out or not let them on, you know. Like he wanted them to do stuff for him, and he was nice about it, and he was willing to help them when they needed help. And I don't think a lot of Trailmon would have done that. I think there were some that were really just not wanting them around it.
I started replaying it.
Jeffrey.
I don't.
Even though he had his own problems,
Oh,
is
I
when
did get
understand
caught
that they needed help
Yeah, that's
all, and
I don't know how I got caught
I
up.
feel like I think there were some that were really just not wanting them around it all, and I feel like he was able to at least understand that they needed help and understand that there's a lot going on, and even though he had his own problems, he was willing to help the others.
Sorry for the technical issues during that.
Jeff can't play an audio file. He's an engineer, you guys.
The computer was doing. I was trying to juggle too many other
The
things while
computer
I
was
running.
doing it.
Yeah, and it just cut out midway. But yeah, I feel like 'cause I've already forgotten a bunch of the about much of the Trailmon personalities.
Angler is the one that they had the whole episode about where they JP
cleaning him up. Yeah.
cleaning him.
Oh yeah, the whole episode full of bad German accent jokes and.
Right.
Right. I mean, that made sense. I just forgot about that connection. And who was the one that really liked that was paired with Koji during the race?
Oh crap. Not. Is it Angler? No.
No, it was not Angler.
Whoa, it
Franken.
was
It was
Franken. Franken's so great. Wait,
Yeah.
why did none of you pick Franken? Franken's so good.
Because everyone is wrong. You're all wrong. What we recently learned, we've been chatting in our Slack about how we can increase engagement, get more feedback, and we learned that we should just be really loud and not that like if we voice more vocal opinions that people will disagree with, then maybe we'll get more comments.
Yeah, Franken is the best
Franken's the
Trailmon.
You're all wrong.
You're all wrong.
You send us thoughtful answers, and you're all wrong, and we disagree with them, and we're rejecting them. All wrong.
Oh.
And now we have the last voicemail comes in from Taro, whose name you might remember.
Whoa, hey everyone, it's your old pal. Hold on, I wrote this down.
I didn't even know this joke was there.
Teru. It's your old pal Teru here. You know, I was one of the 4 kids that was really important to the plot. I wasn't the 2 that bullied Tommy, and I wasn't the girl. That other one was me. Anyways, I'm here to answer this week's question. What is my favorite Trailmon? Well, I think I should choose a Trailmon that's reflective of my personality and my importance to the overall series. So it has to be the Ball Trailmon.
Okay, no.
Do you remember the Ball Trailmon? He was from that movie, Digimon Frontier Island of Misfit Toys or whatever. What happened to that movie? I feel like somebody became a bird and there was like a bear in like a baseball cap or something. Anyways,
It's true.
that movie was really important. And so is my character. So what is my character again? I was the girl, right? Was I the girl? No, I wasn't the glasses guy. I might have been the girl. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. But anyways, I guess I'll catch you later next time I'm relevant to the series or the conversation, which will probably be never. I've been Teramu. I've been Teramu. I don't know. The paper got wet. I can't remember what my name is.
That was fantastic.
Stop. You should be the girl. Chiaki, was that her name?
That was her name. We're going to do
Yes.
not a montage, but a collection of all of his voicemail clips, possibly without our laughing over them, because they're so great. And I am.
It's true. Our whole YouTube channel should just really be his voicemail.
Yeah. I am slowly confirming that Taro was Davis's voice. So in the show.
Yes.
Right.
So you see the connection.
Yes. Yeah. I am learning how bad I am at
Jeff is
juggling
stalling.
things. But you know what they say about stalling? The answer is...
I'm sorry, Jeff made a finger at me and then I could not laugh.
my joke was that it was just a segue that led nowhere. It led into a song. But okay, so now we're going to talk about comments from the comments about the last episode. Ashley, do you have the chat open? Are you monitoring the chat? Because I am.
I
trying
do
to
have the
monitor,
chat
I'm
open.
not able to.
Everybody loves voicemails from
Voicemails-
formerly
voicemails
Dale.
from Taro.
Voicemails from Taro.
That's a good romance novel title.
They definitely want you to upload all the clips separately.
Should consult with. I mean, I don't know. These are all from different people though. We got some from Davis. We got some from Taro. We got some.
Yeah,
From,
who else has he been?
I can't remember. Was the one with Skull Greymon and Megidron? Was that from Davis's perspective? Or was it just from the Digimon's perspective? They're all gold though. It's not really our content too. I mean, like we've included them on the podcast, but like I'd feel kind of bad like just taking all their content and then being like it's a Potages thing. It's their work. It's genuinely great voice acting, and this is not for the comment section. So
Yeah.
anyway, the comment and miscellaneous feedback, but we got. Oh right, I should put this up in the YouTube video. But we made a joke, or we talked in the last episode about how Patamon has the waistband that he seemed to inherit from Pokemon, and yet he talks about how he's going to digivolve into Angemon someday. And then we were like, wait, so like, is he going to have the waistband when he becomes Angemon Seraphimon eventually? So it is Kyle Disaster Area made a mock-up of Seraphimon and Mega Angemon and Angemon with the waistband, and it looks
Because
as
I mean,
absurd as
clearly
you can.
that's what he would evolve into, right? Like, there's no
Yeah.
other option here.
And we are still waiting. In I think 2 episodes back in 404, we talked about how like I think someone stumbled saying Duskmon and said Duxmon. And we're just imagining,
Duxmon.
like, Duskmon being trailed by several ducks. Like
Oh my god, that would be
it
adorable.
would be adorable, and no one's drawn it. We're sad.
Is that the episode where we also sang Linkin Park? Rest in peace, Linkin
It
Park
is-
man.
Yeah, and
Sad.
that is extremely sad. If you're hearing this later, we were recording this the day that we heard the news about the lead singer
Yes.
passing away from suicide, and that is extremely tragic. And yeah, and
But at least we're always gonna have our little Linkin Park tribute before it got sad.
yeah, I retroactively feel bad about that because like the punchline at the time was just like Linkin Park so emo, and now I'm like that joke is so tasteless and like it's so.
But it's everybody has said it because it's
Yeah, no.
true.
I mean, it's definitely tasteless to make that joke right now, and I retroactively I don't know if I really should feel bad about jokes made before, but I do. Anyway, we also on social media in the past week or two had this is not really like from stuff we talked about on the podcast, but it's like loosely related to the podcast. I made one of those memes with a like it says like thank you for showing us anyone could be a tamer with the face of lots of different characters with, and then the middle one crossed out, and I had Rio crossed out in the middle. So it says like thank you
Lol,
thank
Rio.
you for showing us, not you, Rio, that anyone can be a tamer or something like that. And and that sparked a tiny bit of discussion about like why does everyone hate Rio? And like I assume people hadn't listened to the podcast, but it made me want to look back at find some stats about that, because like we talked before about how
Right.
like everyone cites like, oh, in Japan everyone loved Rio, so everyone knew him, so it made like his context in the series made total sense. And I just like never bought that argument because like anime generally, like anime like this generally has a wider audience than a game like Anno Catho Tamer and those its sequels for an obscure handheld console that was so unpopular it never got released outside of or in the US or the West at least. And so I looked up some numbers. Like there's really not many numbers available, but like I found, and it's all patchwork stuff and not super credible, but what I did find was that like supposedly, like according to the ratings, Tamers aired in 10% of Japanese households, which at the time means that was 4.6 million households. And Anno Catho Tamer, there was a site, I forget what the site was, but those links are to all these sources are in my tweets about this, and my like tweets on definitely Jeff Twitter account, not on the Petages account, but I linked to it from Petages. And Anno Catho Tamer, according to the site, sold 0.28 million units, so I guess 280,000 units, and that's the only one of the series it has data for. And so that's 1/16 of the viewership of Tamers. So the idea that like everyone knew who Rio was when they watched Tamers seems pretty false. I mean, there's a large possibility they'd seen him in advertisements and stuff, and so like he wasn't as unknown as he was to us. But also, yeah,
He's a schmuck still.
he's still a schmuck. Like these numbers are 100% solid. Like it's spotty data for one game. It's possible the other game sold better. It's possible that like doesn't reflect things. But generally, the way it works is that anime is made to market to a bigger audience than an
But I mean,
expensive
it's
game.
all passive activity. Like TV sells more than games. Games, I don't know. At this point, probably do better than books in the world and stuff.
I guess. But, so that's all we have. Oh, and I guess I was also wondering. Someone pointed out that like the idea that everyone has that Rio was super popular in Japan, comes from Kanaka's notes in English, the English side of his notes, because he has Japanese notes and English notes. And the English side, there's a little disclaimer that explains that Rio says like he was really popular in Japan. I think a little wording, which everyone interprets to mean that everyone already knew him, which I think is too much.
I mean,
it's like he was really popular in Japan could just mean like, yes, the people who play the games really liked him.
Yeah,
And
I
not
think
everyone
that's
played the
the
games.
clear interpretation is like anybody who did know him thought he was cool, which is like,
probably really true. Like,
yeah,
playing
like
his games, he
I,
sounds really cool. Like,
I
if you-
feel like if I saw him in a video game, I'd be like, yeah, he's so cool.
I mean, the Rio of the games is very different from the Rio of the show.
Oh, really?
So,
But his backstory sounded more interesting than Schmuck
oh
Rio.
no, he totally is. But like, I'm just saying, like the Rio, yeah, it's definitely more interesting in the games, but it's also very different. And so even Rio fans from the games don't find his appearance in Tamers that great. I think it's really just like Rio apologists who are like, but I've heard people who like the games say
Rio apologist.
Yeah, so that's that. And this is a side note that I didn't think to consider in the last episode when we talked about Crusadermon / Lordite-mon and the gender being flipped from Japanese. And I don't think anyone pointed this out, and I just came to it and I was like, oh, this is such an obvious possibility for why they would change gender. And it's that to be more like Jesse and James. Like, they have a clear, one of them is acting or visually acting in a way that is lines up with how American audience would view a female character. And to possibly try and replicate the success of Jesse and James doesn't seem that far-fetched that they'd be like, sure, let's go for that.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that that could be one of the factors. I do not think it was the main factor.
Right. We really can't know the main factor, but it's another possibility that I felt like was so, in retrospect, so obvious I should have mentioned it. And now we have some more.
I really think it's just fear of queerness
Yeah, no,
and symbolism.
It's not like fear of queerness in the way that like it's not like, I guess there is some hitting on the boys, which is weird in general, regardless of queerness. We're weird age-wise. Not that Digimon had age. It's all weird. It's weird because also her shipping of Koji and Koichi is super incest. Anyway, on to comments from the episode itself. Embermoto in our comment section, when talking on episode 41, which was the Beanstalk Village episode, said that it felt like filler. It also brings up a good question: why can't all the Digimon evacuate to the real world? The Trailmon go there all the time. And
Whoa!
that's a very good point. I mean, that would open a whole other can of worms about like, is it, like what kind of immigration crisis would that cause if Digimon?
Why aren't any Digimon going there right now, though? Like, you think at least some of them would be like, what are these Trailmon?
With their life at risk, you would think that some of them would have the idea to escape the digital world. But I can also see how planning out the series, like, that's such a huge can of worms, such a complex issue, that like it's so much easier to just forget the fact that Trailmon can go back and forth seemingly at will, because they're not even that consistent about whether they can go back at will. They like are until the writers forget about it, at least the dub writers. Anyway, also Embermoto talking at episode 42 said episode 42 was the primary village one, or the village of beginnings one, the babies, the eggs. Said, wait, the Trailmon take the newborn babies to their families? I have so many questions about how this works. Why don't the parents look after the egg? How do you know what child goes to what parent? What if there's a mix-up? Just how does this work? Does she raise them? She's talking about Swanmon. Does she raise them to like grow to child level and then point them in the right direction, hoping they'll eventually find their families? And my notes are just, yes. How do families work at all in Digimon?
How do families work at all?
You haven't seen it, but there's a character in Fusion / Cross Wars that explicitly has a family. Okay. And I was like, I don't want that. This doesn't make sense. It makes less sense now that you introduce the concept of there being families.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which I guess I had forgotten a bit, but the Embermoto's comments here like seem to imply that they do say that in Frontier, that they're being sent to their families. Which otherwise, aside from that, maybe like a stray line is never shown. So Yeah, Digimon just like
don't
Digimon
know.
world made more sense when you don't think about there actually being families, and maybe like ad hoc sibling relationships as people grow up together and make it out for themselves in the world. But like the idea of actually having parental relationships, like no, doesn't make any sense. And I also wrote down my notes here. There's a good point to mention. This isn't like a correction or anything, but it's something that I would have brought up on the episode if I had thought about it. And we talked about how like the name for Primary Village this time around is Village of Beginnings in English in the dub, and in Japanese it's Hajimari no Machi, which is the same. It just literally Village of Beginnings, and it's the same name that Primary Village was in the original adventure. So in Japanese it's always been Hajimari no Machi. And I only noticed this from watching an anime that is simulcasting this season called Magic Circle Guru Guru, that is kind of like aping and making fun of RPG tropes. And in that show, the village they start off in is Hajimari no Machi, and apparently that's a common thing in RPGs that the village you start off in is Hajimari no Machi. So I don't know. I mean,
Interesting.
it's just interesting because it's like, yeah, Digimon is clearly kind of based on that video game world RPG kind of stuff. So like, I don't know. The way those egg raising villages are represented is very different from like your starting town in an RPG. But it's an interesting way to look at it. That like if you knew Japanese, you'd be like, yeah, Hajimari no Machi has that connotation. But for us, we don't really get that. Like I was looking at like Pallet Town. In Japanese, it's not called Pallet Town. It's called Masada. I forget what actually it's like. It means blank. Like it means blank. Because it's like all the things are colors. So it's the same way like in English, it's like a palette and you're putting the colors on the palette. It's like blank white and the other ones are named after colors. Anyway, it's not called Hajimari no Machi, but people refer to it as Hajimari no Machi. Anyway,
Well,
weird
that's just
Japanese
all
info.
very confusing.
And so back to Embremoto's comments, episode 46. Embremoto said, if you were going to make Nefertimon the fractal code key, why wouldn't you make her aware of that so that rather than trying to fight her enemies, she would run to protect the code? If she wasn't aware she was the code, there was a chance she would fight her enemies to try and protect the code inadvertently, giving them the very thing she was trying to protect, which is so true. And oh god. Oh god, the
Listen,
headline
there are a
details
lot
like
of
that
things.
in the show.
There are a lot of
No,
things.
yeah. A lot of things.
About the strategy, how this went out.
It's a shame because I remember thinking that episode had the most interesting strategy, that like for a second they had the possibility of absorbing her data
Yeah.
to save that one area. Like they could kill her, take the data themselves, and then just like they would hold on to the data. They could just flee from the Royal Knights for the rest of the time, and that would kind of keep things okay.
Yeah.
But obviously that would require killing Digimon, which would be bad, and that ends don't justify the means and all that. Anyway, Embremoto also said, because we talked about character Sakura and queerness and whether that was in the English dub or not, whether they could erase it all out or not, and Embremoto said, I actually wrote a section on my college thesis paper on character Sakura. I talked about how it shows every type of healthy love there is. I was using the series as an example of how in their comics and cartoons, the Japanese have been more progressive in their portrayal of non-traditional relationships and gender identity. And I mainly want to point out this because didn't you also write a paper in college about character Sakura? Am I making this up?
It was part of a larger paper that was also about Escaflowne, and it was about it was about the dub changes.
It was about like the culture, like this is the kind of thing that gets changed in US dubs. Okay. But I also
early
want
2000s.
to challenge this point a little bit because Remoto says it shows every type of healthy love there is.
There's some unhealthy loves in there too.
There's a decent amount of unhealthy love from what I recall.
There's at least one relationship that's like no.
There's at least one relationship. I'm trying to ape your voice. There's at least one relationship that I am worried how it'll be handled in the new Clear Card arc.
Oh boy,
anime,
I don't even want that to be brought up in that.
Hopefully, just forget it. We're talking about the. I assume you're talking. I'm thinking of the elementary school age girl that has a crush on their teacher.
Aren't they? Yeah, aren't
the
they like
kind
engaged?
Of reciprocates it. Oh, do they get engaged?
Oh, I thought they were like a real thing.
I
I thought it was some. Maybe I made that up though. Don't quote me on this.
Don't at me.
I thought it was yeah.
And in terms of other unhealthy things, I don't think it was super healthy for Sakura to have a crush on. No, I'm forgetting the names. Was Yukito the guy's name, or was Yukito the
No,
magical
Yukido is the
guys
guy. Yue is the magical one.
Yeah, that one didn't seem super healthy.
Mm,
The
That's
friend
okay.
Tomoko. Is that her name? Is her
I
name really literally just friend girl?
don't think that's her name.
That's not her name?
No.
I think Evermoto's in the chat. Has anyone been correcting us?
Yamamoto has not been
Tomoyo.
Tomoyo, there we go. Yeah, I was like,
So
it is Tomo something. It's not Ko.
It looks like it's not actually written with the kanji for friend. It's a knowledge generation. Anyway, her crush on Sakura seems super unreciprocated. There's lots of unreciprocated love.
Oh, here, what does Embremoto say? The teacher and the student give each other promise rings, so yes, they do get engaged. See? I was right.
I guess you could kind of argue like whether our promise ring is a form of engagement, but like that same exact symbology is used by people to insist that air and ice is totally queer. So like if you accept that is, then you kind of can't.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to talk about Cardcaptor Sakura not this coming weekend,
We already
but the
recorded
following weekend I'm going to record with
you're
Jessica.
talking about your other podcast. You're plugging your other thing.
Yeah, my podcast that's not going to come
How much time
out
is
for
left?
like
You have 25 minutes. Okay, you still have some time. I think the
2
meat of this is going to be
months.
Q&A. So no, you don't get to talk about your manga. Manga's for nerds.
no, nerds.
Nerds. I should
You work
probably
at a manga
pause.
company.
I should probably pause. Yeah, to admit that I read lots of manga and I work at a manga company. For people who aren't aware, somehow are listening to this. The last comment we got was from Yoshiman400 on Reddit, and he said, "Surprised you guys didn't mention the return to the old, quote unquote, old digital world in Try when you were discussing the concept of returning to old places. Unless you're trying to limit Try spoilers in non-Try episodes, and no, we are not. We do not care about limiting Try spoilers in non-Try episodes. That would be too complex to manage, and we assume that everyone watching, we assume the people who care about what happens in Try have already watched Try, and the rare people who maybe be waiting until the very end or something that like know what to avoid themselves, and they're probably a very small minority. Anyway, I did not really consider this to be that's the situation I was describing, the episode of like going back to places, like retracing your old steps. I thought the primary thing that distinguished that was retracing old steps to see how much you've grown, to see how much you've changed since then, and or like how much you've improved, how much better you are, how much the things that were really hard then are so much easier now, like when they fight Trailmon and in the original adventure, and it's like, wow, we can do this at rookie level, and etc. And how that kind of echoes, like, I don't know, going back to childhood homes and be like, oh, the light switches are so low. I thought they were so much higher in my memory.
I'm a small person. That is not a thing that has ever happened to me. What are
I've
you
never
talking
grown
about?
in my life. I was born at this.
I was born at 5 feet. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And whereas revisiting the digital world and Try, I really didn't get that sense. It seems like that would be a totally natural thing for them to do in Try, but I really didn't get that sense. Like, it was kind of just nostalgic to see those places again. It really wasn't like, and look how big they look compared to when they were there before. I just feel like that theme was not really present in Try. So that's the main reason why I didn't
Try
think it was that
squanders everything. Just remember that.
It didn't need to do this one thing. We shouldn't say it's a failure because it didn't do this one thing. Anyway. And Yoshiman400's other comment was that Melissa Fan, who is the voice of Riku, is the voice of Rika, not Riku, not Kingdom Hearts Riku.
Riku.
Darkness. Sora. I can't imitate his voice. Melissa Fan, we were commenting about like where did definitely not Rika go as a narrator. It was so much better when she was doing it. And apparently Melissa Fan dropped off from narrating Frontier because she picked up a theater role during the series. So
So it's not just because she hated Frontier.
so like 15-year-old congratulations.
Yeah.
Years ago. Congratulations, Melissa. I think she kept doing other roles later, but I'm not sure, and I don't intend to look it up. Hey, Ashley. You want to see what I just bought on Amazon?
No.
It's a Segway.
Wow. We did recently have a conversation about Segways, so it made sense.
Did we?
We
Oh, we
did.
did. Oh, we did because in the book published by a respectable publisher, Viz Media, called the book is titled Manga in Theory and Practice, and I work for this company, so that's why this is it. I was fake shilling, but I don't know. It's an interesting book. It's about the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure writing about his process to manga and basically advice to manga creators, and it is applicable to lots of other people too, not just manga creators, but it is also weird advice. I don't. It's not like a unqualified recommendation. The advice is very strange, and like his thought process is very strange, and it's hard to tell how much of that's just like a Japanese mindset versus English mindset kind of thing, or if that's just he is strange. I think it's just that he is strange, and it's just like sometimes it'll be like that's super obvious, or he'd be like that's super wrong, and then other times he'd be like that's super insightful. It like there's all three categories, but one of them is talking about how there's like a anecdote about how he depicted a really rich villa, and he wanted to show how rich it was by showing segues, and I was like, what? that's such a dated 90s
And then
thing.
Jeff was like, nobody uses segways, and I was
Or
like,
not 90s,
actually,
2000s.
I just had a conversation with hockey teammates where one of them was like, I used to drive the like whatever 10 minutes to work every day.
Actually, the story is implausible. It doesn't make any sense.
And then she was like, so then I bought a Segway. And apparently now she takes a Segway to work every day.
Q&A. We have 20 minutes, and this is kind of the meat of the show. So our first
Is it? Oh, we got
we have-
answers from other
yeah,
people.
we have a bunch of questions. A bunch of them we didn't get to in the last episode. That's why I don't want to do this time is like end up not getting to answer some of these.
Oh my god, we're going to blitz through them.
So some of these are from episode 4 or 4.5, and we're like, oh no, these are good questions, and we didn't get to them. So the first one is from May Fisher Guest from Lost in Translation, and they asked on Twitter, you have to swap one character from any season of Digimon with a character from Frontier. Who and why? And okay, first off, we should admit there are two different ways to interpret this, which I didn't realize. We sent these questions to Ash and Andrew to get their answers from. Do you have it open? Should have it open. And
about to.
'cause we thought they were interesting questions and wanted to hear what they had to say, even though they can't be on this episode. But I totally interpret this as taking another Digimon season's character, putting them into Frontier. But it could be read to mean take a character out of Frontier, put them into a different season. Like, is the question saying imagine Frontier with a different season's character, or is it saying imagine a different season with a Frontier character? I interpret it as Frontier. Frontier with a different season's character.
I mean,
And I think that's how Ash and Andrew did too. So,
right.
so what did they say?
My Asher says, does that mean swap a character into Frontier? Because I'd totes replace Koichi with Kari. She's already got that, oh, I'm special backstory, and I'd love to see her in that am I evil, am I dead role, plus the duality between Koichi's lights and hers. How do I explain this meme? Is it just... How do you...
I didn't realize you could even insert this into an email. What? I mean, if you click it, it goes to a page describing it. Don't do that though. Just describe with your words, and I will look up the name for it.
Okay
see you
symbol
describe it.
eyes, okay symbol eyes, okay symbol eyes, okay symbol eyes.
You know, you could describe it in like the abstract or generally, not like
Good,
emoji by emoji.
good stuff, 100%.
So I guess it's called good shit copy pasta.
I didn't want to say shit. See, I tried not to.
It's yeah. I guess that's what it's called. I don't know. I've seen it before, but I didn't realize you could easily paste it into an email for effective correspondence there. But also, this is illegal in the Digimon laws, having two different light characters. Pretty sure they would just collide and
they would
just
just-
blow up. Like,
They would blow up.
Yeah.
Okay.
you know,
Interesting take.
that idea of having two different people who symbolize light and seeing how they contrast against each other when in the same playground together. It's something I haven't really seen, and maybe that like for all Kingdom Hearts does is like light, darkness, eternal darkness, blah blah. Like they never play with that. Like there's so many characters who represent like, you know, there are multiple Sora, Kairi, Riku dichotomy or like triangles, and yet like they never actually address like, because Sora totally is like Sora is pure light and Riku is a combination of light and darkness, and Kairi is also a pure light, but like it's never really about like how do the differences between their pure lightness contrast, and like what does that mean, how are they practically different, what do these symbols mean. It's just like, oh yeah, he beat things because of light, she beat things because of light, Riku beat things because he's light and dark. okay.
Riku's the best.
Riku is the best.
Andrew says, I'd replace Koichi with Kokomon because they are somehow the same character and have similar character arcs in a sense. What? Wait a second.
He also qualified at the end of this email in Slack to us like, these answers are 100% serious or something.
Oh, did he?
I'm like, sure they were. He said, sent. All my answers are dead serious.
Okay.
So I guess we should answer.
I like the Kari answer.
I do like the card answer. I think that's the most interesting, like, in terms of, like, what could make a Digimon series interesting. That sounds like a really compelling way to make
Also,
it
I
interesting.
mean, definitely take out Koichi because, like, he's whatever.
It's a shame because in the abstract, Koichi is a cool idea. Just executed in such a way that ends up being bland. And, like, I don't dislike him as a character. I like him as a character. It's just there's not much there to remember. It's
You
like,
just like him because he's Duskmon.
oh,
and you like
yeah,
Duskmon.
but he never goes back to Duskmon. I don't know, I was like thinking about, like, he's a nice, sweet boy. Like, I've seen people on Twitter recently, like, in searching Digimon Frontier, see how people, like, some people react to it, and, like, I love all these characters. They're all so sweet by the end. I assume they don't say that, but I'm like, you're saying they're all sweet? I guess you must mean by the end, because they're not in the beginning. And I can totally see how, like, Koichi is a sweet, nice boy. But it's kind of, I don't know. He doesn't really get much, like, material to be that sweet, nice boy, I think. So, and, yeah.
He's
So-
just dead.
And as a kid, I remember my initial watching that idea that he was dead was like, oh my god, that's so huge. Also, we haven't gotten there yet, so that was kind of a spoiler that we probably shouldn't have mentioned, but, like, he's not actually, so whatever. Like, I would think it was so much bigger of a deal if he's actually dead, but he's not. The next question was from Sam Krieger, who also hosts the Moncast, and this question was on Twitter, and they said, which character could/would you completely remove from the plot? What was Asher's answer to this?
Asher's answer was, I'd remove Serafimon from the plot because then a power struggle between Cherubimon and Ophanimon with no bland heroic dude in the middle is much more compelling to me. Give all Serafimon's plot to Ophanimon, replace Patamon with Salmon, it's all good.
That's also a really compelling answer, I think. Like, the fact that it's Serafimon and Ophanimon against Cherubimon, I guess, hypes up Cherubimon more. The fact he was able to take down both of them means that he's even more of a threat than if he was one-on-one.
I guess.
I guess. But, like, it would be nice to, like, I feel like this is one of the few prominent female Digimon roles.
Yes.
Like, positions of authority, and so for it to be like, you're 1/3 of a triangle, though.
Yeah.
Like, male
Plus, then it
characters
wouldn't have the
everywhere.
imbalance of beast and there's
Right,
only
it'd be
2
one-
types. It
right,
would just
it
be
would
1-to-1.
Right, it'd be 1-to-1. It would,
I was pretty convinced by this answer, but Andrew's answer is Ice Devimon, and I gotta say I also like that answer.
he's only saying that because he doesn't know who Christopher Walken is, apparently.
No, it's also because Ice Devimon is a rapey lick monster, like rapey Jedi.
I think the way that his lickiness,
His lickiness.
I think the way that Ice Devi Licky Tongue is represented is fine. It evokes evil Jedi for us now, which is awkward.
It's
and uncomfortable.
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but, like, I think there's a big difference between the two of them and Dark Jedi, or whatever we're supposed to call him, anonymous man, whatever dude.
Anonymous man.
There's so much more problematic about the way that was represented.
Jedi
than
poser.
Joser? Jedi. Anyway. And who would I remove? It's tough because, like, it's so hard to think of, like, how much can you fix by removing one person or one character. It's hard to, like.
JP. I'm gonna throw that out there.
That's a is that your answer? Is that your final answer?
I think so. I tried very hard not to hate JP, and it didn't work.
It's true. I'm hesitant to throw him out because I see so many similarities to myself, and definitely as a kid liked the fact there was a chubby guy on Digimon. But almost everything, almost, I say almost, but almost everything about his execution is frustrating and annoying.
I mean,
That's
okay,
bad.
I'd throw out Zoe, except then there'd be no girls.
But I mean, it depends how you interpret this question. Because if it's just like in the planning stage, throw out one of these characters, and then things will be corrected before it actually gets released, then you can make an argument like they can't just launch it with no female characters. So maybe if you throw out Zoe, they replace them with someone else. That's a possibility. But if you interpret the question literally as like take the season as it is, just remove one element, keep the season as it is, then yeah, that'd be bad. I'm tempted. I can't remember exactly what my argument was, but I think in the last episode, I talked about how it's a weird omission how they have the spirits of legendary warriors. The legendary warriors, like the epic that they're known for, is defeating Lucimon, and yet they never really think to be like, let's look back to what the legendary warriors did to defeat Lucimon, except for like a vague thing about, oh, this hasn't happened yet. This is in the next chunk of episodes, I guess. But I'm trying to think if that like, oh, and I guess Ash also had a point in the last episode, in episode 405, about how like what the Royal Knights are doing is kind of exactly what Trubillon was doing, and so there's not any point to the Royal Knights. I don't know if I quite agree with that, because we don't quite so actively see Trubillon going out and taking away landmass. The Royal Knights definitely seem much more effective about like taking away landmass, and so I wouldn't be safe saying take away Trubillon. I wouldn't be safe saying we take away the Royal Knights. But something about that equation is like should have been tweaked. It's not as simple as just remove one thing though. But I don't know. Like, also, just like the Royal Knights could be such an interesting like contrast to the Legendary Warriors. Like maybe Lucimon, who was defeated by Legendary Warriors, created the Royal Knights to be like an anti-Legendary Warriors. Isn't that just a cool concept that I thought of 5 seconds ago? And like is cooler than Frontier? I mean, I hesitate to say like that, you know, kind of like, oh, this idea I just came up with would have been so much better, like, because like ideas, it's the execution that matters. Ideas aren't, you know, like there's so much more to an actual final media product than ideas, and so that's not I don't want people actually think I'm saying an idea would have been better.
Yeah, it's just you hyped Trubimon up too much.
I think they hyped Trubimon up so effectively, and then the Royal Knights just so many things wrong with their, like, it's just so weird to have like all this talk about the Digital Ball backstory, and then be like, oh, and then these guys that you struggle to beat forever, they come out of nowhere. They come out of like the gaps of this world, and like they don't make any sense at all. It doesn't make sense that they're an organization, that they have multiple, there are two of them, but like they implied there are more, just the way they talk about them, and it's all awkward and bad. AR Pulver from System Restore, which is a blog that covers reviews of Digimon episodes, on Twitter asked, how do Zoe's experiences as a returnee to Japan, like they went to Italy and then returned to Japan, compare to Mimi's experiences in Tri? And I think they're like so different that it's like, I feel like Mimi is basically just removed for like kind of meaningless plot reasons. Like it doesn't really affect her character that much. It's like she's there, so she's like separated.
Well, yeah, the difference is that like she leaves after having made friends with all the Digidestins. So when she comes back, they're just like, cool, Mimi's here. Whereas Zoe has this whole formative experience of being an outsider that she brings when meeting these kids.
Right, and like Mimi's being in America informs some things. You know, like she doesn't know, I forget what that word is, that I forget what it was, the word that she doesn't know in part 2. That's really just like she doesn't know the shortening, the slang way to say it.
Oh, right.
And like, and there's like little awkward things like that, and like I guess you might be able to argue that tension that she has with those other girls in chapter 2 might be from a like she's different because she's from America, or because she's been in America recently. That might be a subtext there that we didn't really get that as an American audience, but maybe from a Japanese perspective you would get that. Anyway,
I mean,
that's possible.
Sure,
it's
but that's like one moment.
Right, it's so much less than Zoe. Like Zoe, it seems like being from Italy is like a big part of her identity and personality and stuff. And like she kind of comes back to Japan. It seems like she comes back to Japan and like doesn't know how to like fit in at all. Whereas Mimi, it's like, yeah, it's a little bit stumbling. and like mostly just like, yeah, I brought jelly beans, yay. I don't know. I find it kind of frustrating that it's like, and she comes back right when Try happens, like just need to undo the thing they did in
Yeah,
02
well,
just
of
to have it
course.
there, like, yeah. Did Ash and Andrew have any funny responses?
Asher did not. Asher was like, I'm just gonna skip questions. I don't care.
That's what I asked them to do.
Andrew says huge differences since she pretty much grew up in Italy and Mimi had only been in America for only a few. Also, Mimi was always more outgoing in the first place and had friends at the school already, unlike Zoe.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Next question is from a Tumblr anon, and they asked us, who would win in a fight? Royal Knight Omegamon, a random Omegamon, or the Chosen Children Omegamon? I don't want to acknowledge this question, but I don't really...
What was it again?
Who would win in a fight? Royal Knight Omegamon, a random Omegamon, or the Chosen Children Omegamon? So, Omegamon from the... You've seen X Evolution. That has a Royal Knight Omegamon. And Tai and Matt's Omegamon, Tai Chi and Yamato's
I
Omegamon.
guess I'm supposed to think of them as different Omegamons. They're all just Omegamon.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on what people enjoy, but I don't really find that much value in hypothetical who would win arguments in the first place. Especially the more the characters are separated. So if it's characters within the same narrative who don't happen to interact in the story, okay, that's an interesting hypothetical. If it's characters from different continuities, then it's if it's characters from different series with totally different worlds and dynamics and mechanics and everything, then it's oh, that starts to... So this one's in between. It's all these different forms of Omegamon, Royal Knight, Random, and Chosen Children are all from different continuities of Digimon. At least they are all Digimon. I don't think it quite has... there's a popular series called Death Battle. Have you seen it, Ashley?
No.
It for a while
Death
filled up my
Battle?
Digimon searches on Twitter because there was they're doing another one recently, apparently soon, but there was I guess it was Tai versus Ash. So it was
Maybe I saw this. I didn't
it was
watch
it was
it.
War
but,
Greymon versus Charizard, and it's the whole premise is that and they made it all bloody and I forget exactly what happens. I think War Greymon is implied to murder Ash Ketchum, and so it's just
I definitely didn't watch the video. I think I saw it floating around.
I find the thing pretty silly, and the passionate arguments some people get into kind of even more silly because it's the evidence is always flaky and
Get it, Jeffrey. You don't like it.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I need to find it.
It's just so lavender.
That's not it. No.
It's in the wrong tab.
This is so dumb.
Where is it?
This doesn't exist. It's all a
Royal
lie.
Knights? The Royal Knights?
The Royal
Where
Knights.
is it?
The Royal
Did
Knights.
I lose it? I may have lost it.
The Royal Knights.
The Royal Knights?
The Royal Knights.
The Royal Knights?
I hate myself already.
Ashley, you've done a good job.
Okay.
I found sound effects from Smash Brothers. This is apparently in Japanese, when the crowd, they're
I think our internet is lagging a lot.
oh, people not getting the stream properly. That sucks.
I'm not getting the stream properly.
Oh. I hope that means it's gonna be okay on YouTube because I was hoping not to upload a separate thing. But there'll be an audio feed regardless. Our cat is attacking the blanket screen.
Please don't do it, Kat. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We still have 2 more questions we should breeze through. Homoerotic on Twitter asked, who would be Team Roykit Knight's Meowth equivalent? I don't understand the Roy.
Was it
part of this
supposed to be? I was very confused as well.
I mean, it's supposed to, he's going for Royal is the Roy. It's
Oh.
Team Rocket plus Royal Knights.
Okay.
I was is this Roy from Fire Emblem?
So who would be the Meowth?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's weird because even we always thought of Arukenimon and Memimon as being a kind of seemingly blatant ripoff of Jesse and James, and they don't have. There's no third Meowth in there.
Andrew says, adventure Demi-Devimon, since they can't tell the difference between good and evil, and he's blatantly evil. They wouldn't be the first to be fooled by him.
Ice Devimon.
Ice Devimon! Yeah.
Just doing the Christopher Walken voice and everything.
Oh my
I can't
God.
think of Any like good answers? And you don't have an answer, I assume.
I mean, I can't even think of tiny Digimon right now. Guilmon.
They don't have to be tiny. It's the personality, like the lackey who like doesn't really do much, but
I mean, Digimon is a pretty good answer.
yeah, size wise. Gachamon.
Gachamon.
I mean, you're going based on cats. Yeah.
Spirit Rose Wolf says Blackworm Greymon was the Meowth. Yes.
That'd be fun.
Blackworm Greymon's butt, to be specific.
And the last and most important question. We may have got more since I wrote these down. We should make sure we get them for the next episode. I think we're running long now, so we should wrap it up. This last question, which is from Ali Japanese on Twitter. What's your favorite food?
Pickles.
I hate that.
I hate you too.
I have a problem with this answer, so read Asher and Andrew's while I think about mine.
Okay. Asher's was... My favorite food is salmon sinigang.
You just read salmon as salmon, Ashley?
Whatever. And my favorite snack food is Smart
You
Food
just read salmon.
white cheddar popcorn.
Does it come from the Island?
Yeah.
Is this
Listen, I said Island.
Is this a Hooked on Phonics commercial, Ashley?
Listen, I said Island when I was a tiny
Yeah, I
child,
think
and
everyone did once.
it deeply affected me. You don't have to make fun of me like
Were you
this.
27?
I can attest that
Okay. to be
Asher's
fair,
favorite snack food popcorn is Smart Food white cheddar popcorn.
So what was the actual thing? Salmon what?
Salmon sinigang. I don't know how to say that
Okay,
word
let
either.
me just look in my email to find this. Because this is a like, I think this is a Filipino dish that you are not aware of. So I can see that you did not parse salmon correctly. I think it's a Filipino dish. Maybe not. No. Yeah. It's.
I mean, that would
according
make
to this thing,
sense.
it's Filipino sour soup.
They're Filipino.
I was kind of just guessing because like. Sinigang,
Because Asher's Filipino.
Sinigang. No. I mean, it was that plus Sinigang.
You're like, that makes sense.
Sinigang like looks kind of like the words that I see at the Filipino.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't pronounce words in English, as you can see. So when it gets to other languages, I'm just like, I'm sorry, other languages. Please forgive me.
And, Asher hooked me on Smart Food white cheddar popcorn.
Oh, wow. Okay. And Andrew says Princess Goldfish.
Which I didn't realize was a real thing. It's just normal goldfish, but like girl flavored.
Amazing.
Girl-colored.
Is that like only a Japan thing?
No, I don't. No. It was in English. Like when I googled it, it was in English.
Oh, man.
I actually thought he was making a joke about Princess Jellyfish, which is a manga. I assume he's right. I don't know if he's actually talked about it, but it's a really, really highly praised manga. But Princess Goldfish seemed to just be like, I wish I could show you a picture. Actually, it's just like they seem to be normally flavored goldfish, but like with a little what's a girl crown called?
A crown? A tiara?
Tiara. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I was like, what?
I didn't mean to actually imply that girls can't have crowns. I just mean like, what's that word for? Did you realize that like the reason? So in Wonder Woman, the mentor that everyone loved, Robin Wright. I forget what she was actually called in the movie, but like the aunt who taught her to fight. I think.
Right.
Robin Wright.
The
Like,
one who
everyone-
died.
I guess so. Spoiler.
It happens in the first like 20 minutes.
Spoiler. Anyway, I didn't realize why everyone loves her, because I think of her from being from House of Cards, where she's like this ruthless, not power hungry. Anyway, she's like a interesting character there. But do you know why people love her? What she's known for? From before
No.
that? From Princess Diaries.
Those are different things.
They are very different things, and I'm double checking because I get them mixed up, and they are very different things. I'm pretty sure it's Princess. I think she is like a princess in the Princess Diaries, which like confuses me.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, she's a warrior.
Apparently, Princess Bride. Wait, no. It was the Princess Bride. It was not Princess. Oh my God.
Damn, you're real confused. You gotta get it straight.
That I think everyone may have heard that. It's not the Princess Diaries. It's the Princess Bride. That makes a lot more sense. For some reason, like I had seen this and looked into it incorrectly and been like, "Whoa, she was in the Princess Diaries." That's a weird thing for her to become a prestigious actor after, for doing that. Also, I was like, when it was made in like the 2000s, I'm confused. But it was Princess Bride in 1987, which is a much more critically reviewed film that makes so much more sense.
Wow, are you hating on the Princess Diaries? Is that what I just heard?
I said one is more critically revered. But my favorite food is probably cheese. If it's
Oh man,
totally
it definitely is cheese.
That's totally a cop out. Like, it's a topping you add to things.
Yeah, when Jeff doesn't like other food, he's like, hey, if I add cheese to it, it becomes palatable.
Okay, so brief tangent. When we were in Japan, we went to a gyoza restaurant in Kyoto that was like, it was a really great restaurant. It was like, I think it was highly rated and stuff, and they just had lots
We
of
had to
different kinds
wait
of
for a
gyoza.
while,
We had to
so
wait
I
for a
guess
while
so.
to get in. But anyway, they had lots of really different great kinds of gyoza, and we had ordered a bunch of them, and then they came later, and we'd forgotten which ones were which and stuff. And there was this one that I tried, and I was like, this tastes like magic. Like, what is in this that makes it taste so much better than all these other ones? Like, what? Like, and it was like, I forget what. I think it was like chicken and cheese. And I was like, this chicken is amazing. What is it about this chicken that makes it taste so magical? And I was like, it was just cheese. And it's like, I mean, I love Japanese cuisine. I mean, not all Japanese cuisine. We hate, both of us hate fish and stuff, but there are lots of Japanese dishes I really like. But almost none of them have cheese in them. Actually, that's not true. A bunch of things you can get in like restaurants have cheese, but it's like weird kinds of cheese. It's like not the kind of cheese we expect. Like if you go like a curry place, you can get curry with cheese, and I'm like, I don't want like soft cheese added to this. And like, so there are cheese, but like generally don't get that much cheese.
So
in
Jeff
Japanese
just really
cuisine.
wants to go back to this gyoza place
No,
when
I
we
don't
go
know.
back.
Just like that experience and being like, we'd been there for like 2 weeks and like no cheese, and I was like, oh, cheese. It was magic. It was magic. And you know what they say about magic?
Listen, it was only a week
You
at
know what
that
they say about
point.
magic? You know what is the most magical way to get around? The Segway.
Okay.
And now it is time to recommendation your articulation.
Oh god, I forgot about this.
I will go first then. I have not thought of a good answer because I have to strategically choose ones that I need to save the ones I think Ash might like for episodes that he's on, so I can try and convince him because I know he won't actually listen to the podcast.
Jesus.
I don't
Jesus, the
think
thing that Asher doesn't believe in because he's a rabbi.
Wow, assuming that all Jews don't believe in Jesus, that is racist.
Jews for Jesus.
Okay, I didn't want you to take it in that direction. I don't know how people think about Jews or Jesus now, but as a kid, I found the idea extremely offensive and frustrating. I don't know if like that was right as a kid. Anyway, okay. I am going to recommend Better Call Saul season 3, which
Episode 5,
it's
minute
the
10.
latest season. By the time we're recording this, it I guess finished a couple weeks ago. It was a really great season of television. It is weirdly I don't know. A lot of people compare it to Breaking Bad because it is the successor to Breaking Bad, even though it's a prequel. And it is not as like over the top, exciting drug lords battling each other kind of thing that Breaking Bad was. It is more about like a family struggle and about two brothers who like is most interesting when it is about them. You don't know how benevolent or malicious they're being in how they like undermine each other. And it is really great, and it ends in both of the last 2 seasons ended in kind of strange points, but this last 3rd season ends in a really big, heart-wrenching way, and yeah, it was really great. Whole season's good. The show was good in general, but 3rd season was pretty great. What do you articulate your recommend?
I
Ashley?
recommend you go be sad and listen to all the old Linkin Park songs.
Well, that
And
was a
then-
downer.
Debbie Downer. I listened to Hybrid Theory today, and I was like, it was so good. Sad.
And I'm sure if you look on YouTube, there are lots of Digimon AMVs set to Linkin Park songs.
It's true. You can teach them on A and B Linkin Park songs all day, probably.
I figured Better Call Saul season 3 was a safe recommendation because that wouldn't have. I could never convince Ash to watch like several seasons of. Actually, that's not true. He probably would just like binge. It's only 10 episode seasons, so it's totally
I don't know
possible.
all I've gathered is Asher's read 2 volumes of Maid Sama so far to prepare for the first recording
Stop
of that
plugging
podcast.
your other podcast.
Hey, I plug my other podcast that you can
Um,
listen to in like 2 months.
You know
No.
what? We know what household appliance Asher really likes.
No.
I need to open the soundboard. You know what household appliance Asher really likes? And it's not really a household appliance. It's something you can ride outside. It's a Segway.
You're really forcing it these days.
Stop talking over with the Will, Ashley. Total side note, but I get really frustrated because they're not really frustrated. I just think it's kind of funny that the opening to the new season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns is called With the Wind. And I'm like, you're 2 letters off.
With
Come on.
the wind.
That's not how it goes. I forget how it goes. Because now I just have With the Will stuck in my head. And yeah, for some reason, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns is about surfing in VR and also seizing the wind. Kazuyotsukamu. You can find the full show notes and comment thread for this episode at podigious.com/405.5. Jump in the comments to let us know what you thought about this episode. Like how much you
Who
hate
is
Jeff
the
Segways.
Meowth?
And yes, who's the Meowth? And also how much you hate Jeff Segways. You can also let us know your thoughts via social media, email, or with the Will thread, or the Digimon subreddit thread for episode 405.
Or the
my
Trailmon
awkwardly
that
pausing.
you ride to our house.
No, I don't know where you're going for that. Our Goonimon artwork this season is by Jubia Majo, and you should totally check them out on DeviantArt.
Poddigis is made possible with your support on Patreon, including support from our chat champion. I can speak. Champion Patramon, Diabjomon. Wait. Okay, infamous Tokujo on Twitter. Am I doing it right?
Yes.
I don't know.
They are the infamous Tokujo, not the infamous Diabjomon.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Joe Keto, Kai Lunamon, Michael Penne, and Sam Kruagamon, who is also on the Moncast. Our ultimate Patramon, Alvaro Crimson Mode, David Gramon, and our mega Patramon, Marcus, who's from a season of Digimon I have not seen. Correct?
Which we're going to get to soon.
Oh,
Just excited.
good.
I'm half excited, half dreading, because I think we haven't fully officially decided everything yet, but like we're probably going to be covering it dubbed, and
Yeah.
that'll be new territory for me because I've only seen it subbed. And
I've not seen it at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not used to like when we've been covering dubs. It's always been nostalgically revisiting things that we've seen dubbed before. I don't know how it's going to be when I have to watch.
Didn't Andrew watch it?
Right, so Asher and Andrew have both seen it dubbed. So for them, it will be them nostalgically rewatching a dub. For you, it'll be you watching something the first time. For me, it'll be a totally different Poddigis dynamic. We've had some of that.
Shaking it up.
We've had some of this with like you not remembering Frontier, but like, this will be totally new.
I don't
So
remember
that's exciting.
anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Check out our Patreon if you want to be cool like them. And by them, we're talking about the Patreon that we talked about 10 minutes ago because we just went on a tangent, and support the show. For just $1 a month, you can join our private group chat on Slack, where lately we have been talking about Segways and how everyone wants to buy a
Video
Segway.
games
This
that
podcast has been brought to you by the Segway Corporation, who is the only maker of Segways. And I haven't seen a Segway in like 10 years.
I guess I was going to say Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, people talking about
No, not really.
that?
I was going to recommend that and not be depressing with Linkin Park, and then I didn't.
To be honest, I haven't been talkative that much in the Slack this past week because I've been really busy at work and stuff. But there's been lots of talk in there, and I guess Andrew and I were talking about like what is bad about Yu-Gi-Oh.
You
these
talked
days.
about Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah.
You can also get cool stuff like commentary tracks and behind-the-scene notes for $3 a month, a new sticker and button every month for $10 a month, and lots of other cool stuff. Ashley's
It's
on the
my
mid-script.
turn. You can find Poddigis on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook to keep up with the Digimons, hear about upcoming episodes and recordings, and get funny Digimon images and GIFs. I'm on Twitter at AshMcD00.
And I'm on Twitter at JeffLeeJeff. And you have to plug all your like fake fictional podcasts that don't exist
Wow!
yet. Oh, I should probably mention, because I don't really mention that much stuff in these ending segments, but I did want to mention that like since in the past couple of months, I don't know, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you might not have seen that I have been on a couple podcasts talking about manga. So if you are a manga fan, that might be something you are interested in. I guess going chronologically, I was on the Manga Mavericks podcast a couple months ago talking about My Hero Academia. There was a manga fights episode. We basically like had modeled after movie fights, debates on My Hero Academia, and then a Q&A episode answering all the questions about My Hero Academia. Been on Weekly Manga Recap a couple times, which is a really good podcast that recaps a bunch of Shonen Jump titles and other Shonen, I guess they're all Shonen manga, but it's really good. And the official Shonen Jump podcast I'm on sporadically and also was on the One Piece podcast, which the latest episode, the time you're hearing this. And yeah, those are all cool things that you should check out. Manga's good. It makes you a nerd.
Anyway, Jeff, I don't even think I'm trying to start a shoujo manga podcast.
I guess we haven't like fully spelled that out.
Yeah.
So sorry if you've been totally lost as we've been talking about this. Yes, Ashley is trying to start a shoujo manga podcast. Is the name public now?
Yes.
It's
People
Yu Yu
voted-
Hakushojo.
No, it's not Yu Yu Hakushojo, and
It's
it's
Yu Yu
not.
Hakushojo.
It's not Shoujo's Bizarre Adventure either. It's Shoujo and Tell, which is actually something that I think Sam suggested,
Oh.
and then I had a couple names thrown around by other people, and I asked both Personal Confidence 1-on-1 which one they liked the most, and Twitter, and both of them ended up saying Shoujo and Tell, so just went with that one. But yes.
Getting back to this podcast about Digimon, which you may have heard of Digimon.
No.
I guess we don't normally like really call us out, but we really appreciate if you subscribe and review the podcast, review Padages on Apple Podcasts, since that really helps new people find the podcast. And more importantly, share the podcast with your friends who... I'm trying to stare at Ashley while I do this to signal that she needs to think of something. She never does. It never works.
I thought of other things. I wasn't paying attention to you that time.
Share the podcast with your friends.
Share the
who
podcast with your friends.
Awkwardly stall in the outro segment and make it much longer than it needs to be.
No, stare the podcast with your
Stare
friends.
at the podcast. Yeah,
Who
stare at the
want to
podcast.
watch lots of Digimon Linkin Park AMVs with you.
Okay, and don't share the podcast with
Baltramon.
Baltrum. You're just shooting on people's personal favorites. Wow, that's just mean.
Listen, y'all didn't say Franken. You're so wrong.
And join us next week as we conclude the Frontier TV season with Evil Angel Demon. I just...
Oh, so you make fun of me. You don't know me.
with Evil Angel Demon Izzy. I saw Demon Izzy and read it as Devimon. So I started saying Demon.
Demons.
Bye.
Bah.
And remember, never stop digivolving.
Or digivolving your differences.
Thanks everyone
differences
for
you're
hanging out
digivolving.
in the chat. Sorry, I feel like I did not engage with the chat at all because
Because you didn't.
I
That's just a
actually
fact.
didn't. Trying to juggle the soundboard and also the OBS for the YouTube, the title cards or whatever, was more difficult than I thought, and also trying to manage the like Safari window that showed beneath that was even more difficult. So that was difficult. So sorry that I did not read much, but thanks for hanging out with us. And sorry it ran long. Wanted to keep us under an hour, but went over by 17 minutes.
Join us for Cyber Sleuth Sunday sometime. I'm recording with Asher at 10 a.m.
Oh yeah, pick a time.
Pacific, so it's not that time.
But you're pretty sure you're gonna do it on Sunday.
I have 2 hockey games on Saturday afternoon, so probably.
Yeah, Sunday sounds good. Yeah, trying to think. I don't know what to do about Odaiba Day, August 1st.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Might just do like a.
Somebody tell us what you want us to do for a time of day.
I think we might just do the feedback episode then or something.
Oh, God.
Because if we don't do the feedback episode before we go,
Can we get Johnny G to come on?
You're like, here are all these comments about this. Here are all these comments about the show you haven't watched from people you don't know.
I
What
just
do you
need to
think?
get Johnny G on there.
Johnny G, you haven't seen Digimon, but who
Johnny
do you
G,
think,
we came all the way to Canada for this.
who do you think would win? Which Omegamon would win?
Exactly.
It's kind of a shame because like if there were like one day off, it would be fun to show him react
Oh,
to
that's
Digimon and
true.
stuff for an Odaiba Day thing, but
It's too late.
yeah,
We've done it wrong.
Yeah, there's not really much I can think of.
Interesting.
Anyway,
we should eat dinner.
yeah, we need to eat all the sandwiches that have been sitting and getting soggy for several hours. All right, bye. Digivolve your differences. Actually, when I look at you and start talking,
I'm not looking at you.
because I want us to be on the same page. You were looking back at me.
I'm just gonna
You were
stare
looking
at
back
you.
at me. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I don't know how to turn this off.
It's never ending.
Oh, wait, I hit this button.